What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome to another video. Apologies for the lack of upload on Sunday, so I'm going to do the Sunday weekly review today and my expectations for the week. Obviously we'll look at Monday's price action today, even though we're not exactly finished yet. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Last week we had a very consolidated week, probably one of the most consolidated markets I've seen in a very long time. So I'm just going to quickly mark out the daily dividers of last week just so that we can have a nice look and try and get a grasp on what was going on, because again, as I just said, I've never seen price action this heavily consolidated other than around the Christmas period and around the New Year. So December tends to be quite heavily consolidated, and early January tends to be quite heavily consolidated, and I haven't seen consolidation like this since then, which says a lot about the markets and also what we can expect for the rest of this week, especially with all the geopolitical events that are happening and the increase in tensions, etc. So I'm not going to speak too much on those, but however, it is important we do take a look at last week, and you can just see just from the price action how consolidated we were. We traded lower, high. Well, we made the high on the Thursday, which is a very weird day to make the high. It's just a lot of back and forth action, that creates consolidation, so to speak, and that means we have a range. Now we can see that price has dipped down lower, and it looks like we're trading down towards this order block now. Whether we get a reaction off this, we'll obviously see today. But yeah, last week just was horrible in general. I think I traded once and then I got out purely just because of this heavy consolidation. But now, after consolidation, what do we expect? We expect expansion. So I am waiting on some kind of expansion. And as we look through price action on the weekly and stuff, we can start to anticipate and see where price may want to draw to. So obviously this is the week now, it's already started. This is Monday's price action. You can see we've moved quite aggressively lower, and we've also traded through the 50% level of this wick here, which says to me that we're likely going to want to draw down into this sell side liquidity, and there is also a fair value gap residing right here that price may want to draw into. So I'm just going to draw that out. I'm going to make it orange, and I'm going to remove the midpoint of that. So that's what I have my eye set on in terms of sell side. I want to see if price can draw down into this and fill it. And then I do still want to see higher dollar though. So let's not forget that we have this massive weekly fair value gap residing up here that I'm still anticipating price to eventually want to trade into. So I'm going to just mark that out in black. And that's going to be our weekly fair value gap. That, as you can see, when we traded to it last time, we had a aggressive reaction. Price then traded up on this week, respected the 50% level, as you can see. And now what's happening, now that we've respected the 50% level of this wick, what are we looking for? We're looking for sell side, and which is why we can see price starting to draw down and get pulled towards this fair value gap and potentially into the range residing this range here and here. So price will likely get down into this fair value gap probably quicker than we realize with the way that this Monday's moving right now. But let's drop down to the daily. We can see we've had a nice expansion lower. Also, this fair value gap has been disrespected now. We had a fair value gap here. Let's make that red. And you can see our price has now finally left that range. So things are pointing to bearishness, which means that, again, this weekly fair value gap in orange will likely get traded to. And then after that, we have another daily fair value gap residing below here. And yeah, figuring out what lows specifically we want to see price go to is quite difficult. But if we look at this as a breaker, high, low, high, high, and then we traded lower, we can actually do a measured move and try to figure out where price may want to draw to. So if we look at the -1 level, we have a nice fair value gap. We have a nice fair value gap down here that's level with that price may want to get down to if we are to have a bearish week. It's very rare we just move straight down though, because we would want, ideally we'd want to see some kind of high get made. But so far as I'm concerned, if this low gets taken out, then I'd expect these relative equal lows below here to get taken out and this fair value gap to get traded to, and then we'd probably see some kind of reversal. Let me quickly look to see what news releases are this week, because I haven't actually looked yet. So this week we have, let's see. We have Fed Chair Powell speech, which is high in new sales. We have job claims. And we have personal income. So we do have quite a lot of high impact news events this week. And seeing Monday move like this, as like an aggressive movement like this on Monday. One, it's not very surprising to me because of the consolidation we had last week. But two, it's saying to me that we're likely going to make the low of the week within the Monday or Tuesday, and then probably experience some kind of reversal and a potential push higher. But again, it depends on how bearish we actually are, and how we treat all the lows as we start to trade into them. So it is just a waiting game, I guess. But this is very bearish behavior, and yeah, I guess it's just a matter of seeing if we can run down into the relative equal lows. Let's look at the daily one more time. So obviously we have this fair value gap there. Let me look at the weekly. That's this range here. Yeah, whether price will get all the way down to this daily, I doubt it. This range though, on the weekly here, this wick here, I do like the look of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out the consequent encroachment of this wick. I'd like to see how price treats that level. And I say that because wicks are ranges too, guys. And I always preach this. Wicks are ranges too, so we should be looking at consequent encroachment the same way. So I'm going to have that level marked out, and I want to see if price can draw down into that. And if price respects this level here, then I'd expect to see higher prices for the rest of the week. Other than that, if we say trade through this level and start to trade lower, then I'd want to see this as a target. Other than that, I'm expecting this sell side to get taken. I'd probably expect this weekly fair value gap to get filled, and then I'd expect us to run down potentially into that consequent encroachment, which I literally just marked out. But let's look at the 4 hour one more time. We have a nice order block there. We have a breaker as well, low, high, lower low, which means that this range from this low to this swing high creates a breaker. But I'm not going to mark that out. I want to try and keep my charts quite clean. But that is a breaker. I'll mark out the breaker high though on the 4 hour. But that is some very aggressive selling that's going on. I'm just going to write breaker high, 4 hour breaker high. So price may want to draw down into that, and then we might experience some kind of reversal. But again, price action hasn't been most favorable recently. But overall, I am expecting a drawdown. We have beautiful relative equal lows there. Again, this breaker, low, high, lower low. So as price trades into this range, I think this would be a perfect buying opportunity. Well, on dollar, which means once it reaches here, it would be a perfect selling opportunity on the other currencies, on the pair currencies. One thing to remember is that this weekly, remember this is the weekly fair value gap up here, and as far as I'm concerned, this is the drawn liquidity, which is why this pull down now, what we're witnessing it right now, this may simply be us making the low of the week for us to then turn around and start to run up and potentially take out all these relative highs that are resting up here. Because as far as I'm concerned, we are still bullish, and to be honest, I'd be bullish until it's, let's say if on the weekly we do close lower and we do close below this swing low, then I'd be bearish. But it's looking like we might want to come down just as a wick, create that low of the week, and then start to move our way higher back into this fair value gap, because you can see price is constantly drawing itself up to there. Also, this wick here from this swing high a long time ago, one thing to take note of, 50% of that, what does that line up with? 4 hour breaker high. Price is respecting that old high, because old highs and lows are also PD arrays for price to refer to. So all of these are coming into confluence as to why I want to see price trade down into these levels, find some kind of reversal, and be able to expand back higher. But we will see. So let's go to GBP, and actually let me just mark out these relative equal highs, because we've got this high, these highs here. These are all relatively equally high, and price, and I doubt this buy side liquidity is just going to get left up there like that, which is why I think we're simply moving down, tricking people into the market, grabbing those stops. Smart money will probably be buying down here, collecting all their orders, and then where would they release it? Above the buy side liquidity, and eventually into that imbalance that we have resting up there. Whether that's going to happen in 1 week or 2 weeks, I'm not sure, but that's what I'm seeing. So let's go to pound. You can see obviously we're expanding much higher on pound. Had a nice break in market structure now. Let's go to the weekly and have a look. So where could pound be drawing to? Well, you can see that this wick respects the 50% level of this fair value gap here. So as far as I'm concerned, this wick now should now be respected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark out the 50% level of this wick, like so. And this will be the highest I'd want to see price trade to this week, so long as we for us to continue to be bearish. Let's say we trade above this level and take out this high, it'd be a whole other story, and I'll start to look for higher prices in general. Other than that, on pound, I want to see us respect this 50% level and then show some kind of reversal so that we can start to move back lower. One thing to take note of as well. How do I explain? Okay, maybe not necessarily take note of it. But anyway, we have this fair value gap rested here. You can see we just traded to it. I mean, it'd be nice to see if this gets filled, then I'd like to see us turn around at that point. Obviously, we have this bearish order block, a very strong one as well. So price will actually want to draw into that, where that 50% level of that wick is. And then I'd want to see us run down into these lows residing down here and potentially down here. So let's not, there is possibility that we could trade through, find support and push higher. If that's the case, so be it. However, we shouldn't jump to the conclusion that just because we've seen this massive green candle all of a sudden on the Monday especially, we shouldn't be quick to think, oh, we're moving higher. This could all simply just be a manipulation, grabbing those stops so that we can simply sell further and run back down into these lows which we anticipated before. The alternative to that would be that we trade through this fair value gap. Remember, this is a daily fair value gap. Find support at the 50% level of it and then trade higher. That would be the alternative option that would simply happen. With DXY, it'll be the same here. This is a fair value gap. If price finds resistance, like turns around and finds resistance at that fair value gap as we move lower, then we can start to anticipate more lows getting taken. Other than that, it'd be nice to see if we could just snatch stops and move higher. But looking at how aggressive this move is right now, it's not the best of price action, but we will see. Let's go back to the daily one more time. So yeah, it is a lot for price to reach the weekly consequent encroachment. Remember, this is that weekly consequent encroachment. So one thing I'm also going to mark out is the midpoint of this box, like so. Because price will have to get through that first and then get to that level. So we really just need to see how price treats this level. Overall though, I'm just going to stay bearish on GBP and bullish on DXY, because nothing to me has said, okay, we've had a reversal. So until proven otherwise, we should remain bearish. And remember, we do have these beautiful relative equal lows resting below here. Fair value gap, bullish order block, and you can see that price has been moving lower ever since. So like, unless a significant swing high, such as this high, gets taken out, I'm bearish. And that's just what we need to keep in mind. Let's look at Euro showing significant strength. Euro's a little bit, obviously stronger than pound right now. Euro's similar to dollar in terms of the way the wicks are. We should look at this level, this wick here specifically, 50%, and I want to see if we can respect that. But obviously we'll have a lot more clarity after today's price action and moving into tomorrow. But you can see we're trading very aggressively and very quickly into this fair value gap that's residing there. So yeah, price is likely going to draw into this area, but seeing a Monday move this quickly up, or seeing a Monday move at this rate usually says that there's going to be a large delivery, like they're in a rush to do something. So if we're in a rush to make the high of the week, for example, we're probably going to see a lot of down action for the rest of the week. Do you know what I mean? Which is why I'm saying we shouldn't necessarily trick ourselves into thinking it's going up, because that's what everyone's going to be thinking, especially following this. This is a trend line, for retail. I wouldn't be surprised if this was simply a false flag, a false move was what I'm saying, into the highs, grabbing stops, resting above these relative equal highs residing here, grab that buy side, and then I wouldn't be surprised if, we saw some kind of reaction there. But let's not forget, it's not like if it's a reversal, we'll know it's a reversal, and we'll know that because price will continue to trade through that 50% level, find support at this bearish order block. Sorry, we'll find support, and then we'll continue higher and keep running into highs. That's how we will know we're bullish. Until then, I'm not proving otherwise, so I'm not expecting anything else. But that's going to be everything, guys. Thank you for watching. Again, apologies for the lack of upload. And yeah, I'm not going to be touching the charts until probably Tuesday or Wednesday because it's looking crazy for a Monday right now. But yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.